Hello and welcome back to Micro Jurassic World. This is part 2 of my narrated tour. We have just taken the monorail from the Hilton Resort over the lagoon and are now at the Aquarium Plaza. Now this wasn't necessarily seen on screen, but does contain the canon attraction of the aquarium. Unfortunately, not much is really known, it was never seen either, so I just presume it contains prehistoric fish. Now, because it's a plaza, we do have some amenities, such as Taco Bell. The zip line I will get back to later, and this is fossil fuel energy. So obviously you can tell the amenities are some of my own creations, some real brands, and some canon, but I'll point that out, don't worry. Now, this is the underwater observatory, and presumably it does obviously have the Mosasaurus, if we can see it, hopefully. Presumably it had other prehistoric fish, maybe it's connected to the aquarium, I don't really know, honestly. Also, the mosasaur, we will eventually get back to, I promise. I think he's just ready for the Mosasaurus feeding show. Now, continuing on with the amenities here, we have Dino Store, a classic name that I'm sure a lot of people have used in their park, it's just too good not to. We have a terrible view of the lagoon, if I'm honest. I wish it was just a flat fence so you could look in, or glass, that would be cool. But no, there's a massive brick wall, it's ridiculous. Now, we will go down there later. For now, we are going to go down East Boardwalk. All of these are canon, by the way, starting with Jamba Juice. And I get my canon from the film, behind-the-scenes footage, and official canon material. This is Havaianas, the flip-flop shop. This is Dairy Queen, because it's Central America, it's hot. You know, you're going to want ice cream. Down there is Gentle Giant's Petting Zoo, I'll get back to that. This is Baked by Melissa. I honestly don't know much, I presume it's a bakery. It must be very American, because I've never heard of it. This is Margaritaville, the famous place where Jimmy Buffett runs from the pterosaurs with his 2 margaritas down Main Street. And speaking of Main Street, here we are. Now obviously this is a major part of the tour, so we will definitely get back to that. This is the Jurassic Traders gift shop. It kind of gets destroyed in the fight. But as we go down here, reaching the lagoon, well, we're kind of near the lagoon, we go down West Boardwalk. The first being Ben & Jerry's, the second ice cream place because it is very hot, an arcade, which is presumably branded like Dave & Buster's, but not too sure about that. We have a toilet because the game doesn't recognize these amenities or attractions having toilets. Now up here is the Pterosauria IMAX experience, which honestly sounds awesome. I wish that was real. That's the exit to the T-Rex kingdom. I'll get back to that. And here we enter the Mosasaur Lagoon Plaza. So we've got a nice seating area looking over the absolutely terrible view of the lagoon. You'll also notice the Biosyn decorations everywhere. That's just because they're good water decorations. I'm not going to waste them, you know. On our right, we have the Mosasaur VR Escape. Basically kind of like the Pterosauria thing, but VR. Basically just an attraction I wanted to add. Now in here is the Mosasaurus feeding show. So hopefully, ooh, he's quite far. If anything, he looks closer to the damn underwater observatory. Maybe he's not hungry? Okay, that's really annoying. Okay, you can tell there is a mosasaur, you know? I'm not lying. We do have a big fish. Okay, yeah, I don't think he's coming out, which is a shame. But nonetheless, we can just continue the tour. So the next amenity is H&M, a famous clothing store, hopefully in America as well. Again, I kind of just wanted to put a lot of branded companies because that's what Main Street, that's kind of what we've seen as in Jurassic World. This is Pepsisaurus, a kind of Pepsi factory, I'm not too sure. But if you've seen the film, you'll get the reference, which if you're watching this, I'm sure you have. This is Dunkin', or Dunkin' Donuts if you're confused. A toilet because the game needs it for some damn reason. It's kind of annoying that we can't have the Mosasaurus feeding show be the long thing rather than just 2 separate seats, but oh well. A big seating area here, presumably where most people will sit and watch the show if they can't be bothered to wait. Now we do actually have another attraction, and it's got nothing to do with the Mosasaur, but it's kind of the only place I could put the entrance. And you'll probably have a hard time guessing what it is, considering where we are, but it is a canon attraction, the gondola lift. Now, this obviously looks nothing like a gondola lift. Once again, I'm having to use a truck tour because, well, the game doesn't provide a gondola, unfortunately. This attraction was only seen in Camp Cretaceous, and I'm pretty sure we didn't see any dinosaurs. We just saw Dimorphodon at the top after they escaped. So basically I'm just kind of making half of this up, especially because you can't even build an actual gondolith. So what you see here is probably not at all what is meant to be here. Nonetheless, we do have two canon species for you. Firstly, Pachyrhinosaurus from the Fallen Kingdom auction list, and Pelorplites, which was in Fallen Kingdom as well, but this time as a skeleton, which means it must have died between Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now, we don't actually have Pelorplites in the game either, so I've had to use Polychaethus, but you know, same gist, they're close cousins, I'm sure. Sorry, I'm getting obliterated by these Pachyrhinosaurus. They do not like me. I'm going to skip to the top now. Apologies for going the wrong way, but if you would direct your attention to the left, and we have Lookout Point. Now, Lookout Point was where the Camp Cretaceous people went up, and it's honestly a beautiful view. It's probably the highest view par Mount Sibo. And what I did try and recreate was from this episode, they had paragliders, which, if you can't tell, is exactly what these amber things are. You know those things that like kites where you can glide around? Yeah. Can't you tell? That's them. I mean, you can tell I had to put a lot of creative liberties on this park using amber as paragliders. Nonetheless, it wouldn't be Lookout Point without a lookout point. And so coming up here, we should get a good view of Serenity South. Like that's the bamboo forest there. You can see some Stygimoloch and Arrival Point. You can't really see the golf course. Botanical Gardens is blocked by a pole, but you know, you get the idea. It's a good view, I'm sure. And once again, I am going to skip the going down the other half of the attraction because it is more of the same. So looking out to Main Street, and we should just teleport right there. Now, Main Street was known as the heart of Jurassic World. It was probably where the most action happened, the most people, the busiest area of the park. And in fact, this is factually accurate because it was the hardest part to build. It had obviously the most screen time in the movie, and so I had to keep, every time I built it, I would notice in the film that I did something wrong, so I'd have to break it down, recreate it, break it down, recreate it, and it took ages. It was an impossible task to get this right. Nonetheless, the amenities list goes as Jurassic Trader's gift shop, just on the left, Nobu restaurant, dead ahead, Brookstones here, which I don't know if it's actually similar to Waterstones, which is a UK bookstore, but who knows, maybe it's made by the Stone brothers. Now, heading down here to Gentle Giants, on the right is Sunria Tequila Bar, which I've never heard of, but apparently that's kind of the canon I'm going for at this point. Basically, I just saw a map with all of the details on it, and that was one of them. This one is Columbia Sportswear. Again, never heard of it, but let's hope it's accurate. This is where the T-Rex stormed out to attack the Indominus there. Kind of cool. We have Jurassic Trader's Outpost, where they hide from the Indominus, right there, which is actually the same style of building. This is Pandora, the jewelry store. This is Winston's Steakhouse. And then we have Yoshinoya. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but there you go. It's there. And Starbucks. Nice and easy to pronounce. Good old Starbucks. Not that I actually like the place, but oh well, it's product placement. You've got to get some American brands in there. Now, this is obviously the Samsung Innovation Center. And if you look just behind it, you may even see HQ just up there with Claire Deering giving the tour or whatever. Monorail going to a different part of the park. But this is what I want to show you. T-Rex Kingdom. Now, T-Rex Kingdom was probably the most important attraction at the time of Jurassic World, soon to be probably replaced by the Indominus Rex. Now, hopefully we can get a good look rather than... Ah, there we go. I was afraid we're going to have another Mosasaurus on our hands, but that is a good close-up of Rexy. Now, technically this is Rexy 2, because in my park I accidentally killed the original Rexy, but Rexy 2 has been here the longest. She's basically the park mascot. She's wonderful. I understand the skin is probably wrong. I don't know why I couldn't get a good like skin color for her that people would confirm is the accurate one. So if anyone knows what skin I can use to make it accurate, please let me know and I will change it. Now there should also be Compsognathus in here, featured in Fallen Kingdom. And I figured in the T-Rex enclosure was the perfect place. Now, I've obviously had to put a meat feeder. Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. I see him. See what I mean about the highlight? He's so difficult to spot. But yeah, there are a few. It's not just like I just put one in here. There are a lot of them. Oh, no, it's a Goatosaurus there. Okay, I thought it was a Prosognathus. Oh, well, I don't know why they can't just eat the goat. Why have to have a meat feeder? It's kind of annoying, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, the next part of the tour is through here. And this is by far the most inaccurate part of the park. Now, this is, like, I understand why. It's not like I'm a bad designer or anything. This is Aqua Park, where you can sit down and stare at a concrete wall. Yeah, I didn't really know what to do with that. It's kind of hard to make the game good in its own image because it is quite badly designed. Anyway, this was basically meant to be a water park with slides and swimming pools and stuff, but this is even harder than a golf course to try and recreate. So instead, I made it, if you can see them, an ichthyosaur show. So it's kind of like a dolphin show where they would go and jump through hoops and stuff and, just watch it. Now, this is obviously not canon. This is not what's meant to be here. But rather than just have a pool of water or a lagoon that's empty, I figured, I'm actually going to make it a kind of attraction that would actually have people walking through. Now, the amenities, we have waterproof wares over there where you can buy a jacket. Probably should be near the Mosasaurus because everyone gets so wet. This is Cretaceous Coca-Cola. And this one is Baskin Robbins, which, if you're keeping track, is the third ice cream place, which, let's face it, is probably Desmore. I'm actually surprised I haven't found a McDonald's yet, although their ice cream would probably be broken. Now, that is a view into, what is that a view into? Oh, the Gallimimus Valley, yes, we will come back to that. This is quite a nice feature with the monorail going straight through the path. I've kind of like blocked it off as it would be realistic. But unfortunately, yeah, the monorail it's the only way to do it. It just has to go straight through. Now, we are coming round to the other side of Gentle Giants, if you can kind of locate where we are on the map. Now, I don't really know if this is accurate or not. I've tried to be, but the actual layout is kind of confusing. So I've tried my best. In here, we have Gallimimus, Triceratops, and Homalocephaly. And I know what you're going to say, there's no Homalocephaly. Well, these are meant to be baby Gallimimus, because if you remember in the film, it's a nice scene of the Triceratops there. But yeah, in the film, it's meant to be a bunch of baby Gallimimus running around, and that's kind of what makes it cute. That's kind of like the selling point of Gentle Giants. You may also notice behind this there is Parasaurolophus and Stegosaurus, which is canon accurate. Obviously, they're meant to be a lot smaller, but yes, they are there. And going around the other side, we have an addition of Apatosaurus. Sorry, Apatosaurus in here. And yeah, I don't know, it's more of the same. I think the other one is where you can ride Triceratops, and this one's where you can pet them. If I understand their logic in these two things, I am quite excited that in the next game they're going to have a proper petting zoo. So I'm looking forward to it. I think because I'm probably going to recreate the park again in that game. So changing all of these things that I've had to make my own creative liberties for is going to be good. Unfortunately, you can bet a lot of it is still going to be my own design, unfortunately. Now, this is another attraction, the Pachy Arena, where they had Pachycephalosaurus. This was unseen in the film, Camp Cretaceous. It was basically meant to be like a big tent, I'm pretty sure, like an open-air amphitheater type thing. And it's basically like the Pachycephalosaurus can run around, and in the concept art, they kind of charged at things, wooden blocks. I don't really know. And if they are there, I'm sure. There's a head. You can't really miss that big old brain of theirs. Well, it's more like bone, but still. Yeah, and if you look at the design, they've got like grass on each end, and then they've got like a sandy bit where there's like a theatre show. So there's like equipment there, the wooden boxes they can smash into, concrete they can smash into. These little things like, what would you call it? I don't know. Barriers they could just break. It was kind of hard trying to think of little games for them to play, but otherwise, I think it's quite good. Now, you'll notice we are back at the aquarium, which is where we started, but instead of going down the east boardwalk, we are going to go back up past Gentle Giants again and to a new area of the park. This is Adventure Park. Now, here was an area that wasn't really seen on screen, wasn't really available, but it basically had zip lines, it had rock climbing, it had rope bridges. It was basically part of the adrenaline package when you booked tickets. And so, yes, there's a rock climbing attraction here. And the zip line, if you remember from the aquarium, is right behind us. It's the only real way I could integrate it. It doesn't really make sense going from here to an aquarium, but nonetheless, zip line. Now, we are going to go through here. Again, ignore that it says Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, Jurassic World doesn't have this decoration that you can walk through. I don't know why. But this is a queue that you can go through. We're going to go through the VIP or exit, whichever way you want to look at it. And this is Jungle Trek, also known as Gallimimus Valley, but I'm pretty sure that Gallimimus Valley is an area in the attraction called Jungle Trek. Now here, of course, there are Gallimimus and Parasaurolophus, which are both canon to this attraction. This is one that we know they were both there. The other ones, we didn't really know what was there, like the golf course or whatever, but here we know it's these two. Now, the way I've worked it is there are 4 different species in this attraction, but I've segmented it into Gallimimus is all of them, because it's called the Gallimimus Valley. I figured why not. And then there's a different species in as well. This one has the Edmontosaurus, which is canon, but is never seen, not on the film or Camp Cretaceous, which I think is really odd, because I actually think it's a beautiful dinosaur in this game. Now, this is actually the scene from the film with the big open space and they're like chasing the Gallimimus sort of. I've really tried to recreate that big open grassland area. I really wanted that in this attraction. And this is the Apatosaurus part of the Jungle Trek. Struggling to find, I think, okay, that's one. Good, good, good. Apatosaurus, yes, obviously you've already seen it in Gentle Giants, but that was meant to be just a baby, obviously. Didn't you tell by the size of it? And yeah, there are actually a few Apatosaur. I'm surprised. Is that one? Okay, that's another one. I'm just making sure, you know, I want to make sure that these, you can actually see dinosaurs on the dinosaur tour. That's a look at the aqua park there. But going back to the exit now, I think I drove a bit too quickly. That went so fast. That's actually quite a good view with the zip line lining up. Oh, wow, you know what? I'm an amazing architect. Anyway, back into Adventure Park Plaza, and we found our first amenity, Gucci, because, of course, only rich people can really afford to go to Jurassic World, and so we've got to have those rich shops. We also have fossil candy and sauropod smoothies on the left here. Now, the reason I call it sauropod smoothies is because the attraction behind it, if you can see that monorail, isn't actually a monorail. This is Treetop Gazers, opening in 2018, according to the canon, so about 2 years' time. And it will feature Brachiosaurus, and it's basically like a treetop, well, it's called Treetop Gazers, but it's a treetop feeding area where you basically walk along this really large bridge and maybe feed them. I'm not sure, maybe that's dangerous. This is, obviously they're constructing it, so this currently is where the crew is testing their trees, working out what works, what doesn't, what fits, you know, just trial and error in terms of trees. Speaking of trees, this is where they're cutting down the current forest to make space for the large Brachiosaurus. So this is, instead of a crane, this is a drill, I suppose, cutting them down. And this is where they are building the stilts to keep up the main attraction. Now, obviously, I just used an aviary stick, but I think it works really well. Like, these are in the exact position of where the proper rods would be if I completed the thing. And I think it makes a really good, like, construction look, I really like how this turned out, because you can't really make it a construction site. Okay, I can't go through there. Where was I? You can't really make it a construction site, so I just used a bunch of facility stuff, like take these buildings down here. Now, these are meant to be, hotels and science centers and stuff, but I'm obviously using it as like a construction work site, So rather than a hotel, well, I suppose maybe it still uses a hotel because that's where the construction workers sleep. I'm not too sure, but yeah. Using the facility buildings, I think, work really well. Now, leaving treetop gazers, we come to probably my favorite attraction, the Cretaceous cruise. Now, rather than take the monorail going through, we are going to go through everything else through the cruise. Now, unfortunately, there isn't actually a Cretaceous cruise attraction in the game, so yes, I am once again having to just use a truck. Well, it's not really a truck, is it? But it's a driving tour when it really needs to be a boat. Fortunately, that is coming in the third game, which is good. The aviary is just up ahead, and there are some contesting reports about whether or not the Cretaceous cruise went through the aviary, but as far as my research shows, it does. Now, on the left is the scene from Jurassic World where the Indominus broke in, and it doesn't look too good. I mean, you can't build like a waterfall in this game, which is a primary feature, but nonetheless, it's got the rocks. That's as close as I can probably get. Unfortunately, we don't have the facilities to change the terrain much in this game. Now, don't worry, we will return to the aviary very soon. However, we just have to leave and kind of loop around because although it wasn't seen in the film and there wasn't really any evidence towards it, we didn't actually get a very good look at the aviary. So I decided to create an aviary plaza, just like all the other attractions here at Jurassic World. Now here you will find a bunch of amenities, of course. When there's this many people, you need it. This one is Dine-Morphodon. Dine-Morphodon. I absolutely love it. I love that name. Red Bull gives you wings. I don't know why it's bubble tea. That's really damn stupid. That ruins how cool the title is. That's a staff area. We'll come back to that. That's a toilet. We don't really need to talk about that. That is the dome view. We'll get back to that in just a second. This is my own kind of design. It's basically like an outdoor bird show where the staff would, kind of like an eagle or hawk show, and they like shoot from one end to the other and do like demonstrations. I think that would be a thing at Jurassic World. Don't see why not. And as I said, we are back at the aviary now. Now we have the pteranodons and the dimorphodons. If you didn't get my Dine-Morphodon joke, that's where it comes from. I'm not just a crazy person, wanting to repeat that. And honestly, I love this view. Oh, wow, that's an even better view. Look at that. Is he sleeping? That's so cute. We do have more, if you can see them just along that side. But this is a great view. You see where the treetop gazers piles are, where they can sit on, which currently they don't want to. They've got fish where they can feed, which apparently they still don't want to. They all seem to be tucked away in the corner. I don't know why. None of them are over here. But nonetheless, you can still see them. I really wish you could have the proper domed aviary, like the really tall, high area, and you could have like walkways. Oh, that would be so good. As you can see, the tour does go back through the aviary, so we are going back to that. But first, let's just finish off the amenities. So straight ahead, we have the Aviary Art House, where you have beautiful pieces of art for the rich people, I suppose. And here we have Pteranodon pins, because Pteranodon is spelt with a P, so it kind of makes sense. It's basically just a bowling alley. That's the monorail that I showed you before outside Camp Cretaceous. No, Cretaceous Cruise, sorry, both CC. And now we are back on the tour. We are going to go all the way through. You'll notice the Cretaceous cruise does go as much as possible in water. Of course, it's a road tour, so it's got to have some road, but I have always made sure that there's water on either side so that you can kind of follow along where the river goes. Fun fact, the Cretaceous cruise is by far the largest attraction here at Jurassic World. At least in my recreation of it. I'm not sure if it technically is, although it should be because it goes right the way down from basically north to south of the island. But this thing is huge. I think if I was to recreate it, kind of rearrange it, I would make Cretaceous cruise either smaller or change the layout so that it can fit a proper number of dinosaurs, because in terms of size and quantity of species, it is so bad. It uses its powers worthlessly. But just as we leave the aviary, we come across another species. So small, I almost missed it. Drove right over it, unfortunately. This is why there's a line now. I should just stay on it. Whoops. And this is the Micro Jurassic, which is canon to the Cretaceous cruise, although was never seen in the film, unfortunately. This is Stegosaurus, and in the film we did see the Stegosaurus, Apatosaurus, and Parasaurolophus, which is just here, good timing there, all together drinking from the Cretaceous cruise. So I've had to kind of put all of three of these species in the same area, because obviously if in the film they're in the same area, don't really know how that happened. If in the film they're in the same area, then technically they should be in the same area, I would have split them up into different enclosures, but nonetheless, I've got to try and stay canon. And this is another enclosure of the same thing, Stegosaurus, Apatosaurus, Parasaurolophus, and Micro Jurassic. But I split it in half so that the dinosaurs don't all group into one corner, because otherwise you'll be going through this whole tour and never see a dinosaur. Now, if we get round this little traffic jam, we are going to come across, I think, just another part of the Cretaceous cruise, but it could be a whole nother part, a whole nother attraction entirely. This is the River Adventure. Now, this was a cave type system and featured in Camp Cretaceous. And yes, it did feature glow-in-the-dark Parasaurolophus, also known as Parasaurolophus lux. And they are beautiful. I am amazed these aren't all over. I wish all the species had a lux variant. I think that would be so cool. And it would really encourage me to do more night tours, because like I said in the Gulf, I think it was cool putting lights around and having some colors. But if everything is so dark, what is the point? Now, as we leave the River Adventure, this next part of the tour is going to get a little bit confusing. Basically, what happened is I created a plesiosaur pond, an area where there was plesiosaurs, and obviously I've built the plaza and a big lagoon. But in the end, I realized it wasn't really canon. It was featured in concept art, where a submarine would basically drive into the lagoon, shoot out fish, and plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs would come. So just imagine this as under the water, and it would shoot out fish, and you could see, dinosaurs, or aquatic marine reptiles, whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, by the time I realized, I put so much effort into it, so much detail into this area, and then I realized, no, it's not canon. Just because it's on the holoscape and concept art doesn't mean it's canon. So I tried to delete it, but because this game is literally so big and so dense, for some reason it couldn't delete. I literally would not delete. It was glitched, and I couldn't remove the dinosaurs, so I kept it. But obviously in some of the large panoramic views or bird's eye views maybe of the map, you're going to see a big lagoon on the east side, and you're going to ask questions about, what is this? Why is there a lagoon? That's not where the lagoon is. And so basically I just wanted to explain that, yes, I did create this big, beautiful attraction for plesiosaurs, although I do not consider it canon, and I just wanted to show you, which is why it's in, times 4 speed, I think, to give you a quick look. And honestly, the amenities there, let's have a look. What were the amenities? We had Burger King, Chernobyl Greek yogurt, Build-A-Dino, kind of like Build-A-Bear, and on the island, it was Aquatic Genetics Laboratory, because obviously it's different to the land dinosaurs, Long Island Iced Tea, Fishy Chippy, Dinosaur Dentist, and Fossil Hut. So just some cool ideas that I had that clearly didn't work. Anyway, as we continue our Cretaceous cruise properly, we come to the Suchomimus, which was a piscivore and was genuinely canon to the Cretaceous cruise. Now remember, we're not in a, nice car with protective windows or whatever. We were in a little canoe at this point. So why the Suchomimus was here, I don't know. In fact, the next two species are also dangerous, like the Baryonyx, a deadly piscivore, also slash carnivore, I suppose. It would definitely eat you if you put your arm out the boat. And I don't know if you can notice, but the Baryonyx skin, 3 of them are the trio from the film, Grim, Chaos, and Limbo. Now, I'm pretty sure they are here, or whether or not they're in quarantine, I couldn't really tell. The next enclosure features the Metriacanthosaurus. Now again, this is just, your basic carnivore, medium to large size, and this baby would easily eat anyone in the canoe. I don't understand how this was allowed, but nonetheless, here it is. And it's putting on a nice little display of affection for us. Lovely. That's what you like at Jurassic World. I should honestly just put robots to always do awesome stuff to make the guests happy. Because sometimes you're driving around kind of like this, and you never even see a dinosaur. Kind of sucky. But as we drive out, that is the end of Cretaceous Cruise. Now, not only is that the end of Cretaceous Cruise, but that is actually the end of the adventure park. Now, the next area of the park is you've got to take a monorail all the way to the other side as we are going to the restricted section. Of course, that will be in the next video, so stay tuned for that. Maybe subscribe, like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.